Welcome to Manchester Central. It is packed out here for the weigh-in, 24 hours away from the big one now, the final roll of the dice in the fairy tale story of Tony the Bomber Bellew, the former WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the world, playing for the biggest prize in boxing, the undisputed unified crown currently held by Alexander Usyk. If he wins tomorrow night, he becomes only the second Brit, Darren, in history after Alan Minter to hold the title of undisputed champion in the four-belt era as well. If he does it, is this the biggest upset, or rather the biggest win against all the odds ever by a British fighter?
Yeah, I think it would be one of the greatest British victories. I don't think it would be like a huge upset because Tony's a very good fighter, he's a big puncher, but as far as one of the greatest British victories are concerned, I would say it ranks up there.
Because when we talk about against all the odds, we're not necessarily saying that Tony's a bad fighter, as you said. It's more about the greatness of how do you beat somebody like Alexander Usyk. It's a question that even the best experts in the sport all week and all month have been talking about, and really, I don't know about you, but I haven't heard a definitive answer.
Well, look, second to Tony having to go and do it, I think one of the hardest jobs out there in the build-up to this fight has been for Dave Coldwell to come up with a game plan, if you like, of how to beat Usyk. He's exceptional. He's so good at everything. You know, he moves well. He's quick. His boxing brain is superb. And he's big. He's a big cruiserweight. So I think Dave Coldwell's prep in this fight will play a huge part. But look, if anyone can win, it's Tony Bellew. He'll feed off of this crowd. It's getting packed in here, by the way. He really is busy, and he really feeds off of the fans and the crowd. And I mean, if anyone can pull it off, it would be Tony. You'd be crazy to bet against him.
You would. As you can hear, David Diamante in the background is just getting the undercard weighing underway. Hand you over to him now. Have a look at some of the undercard fighters as they weigh in ahead of the main
Tony
event.
Bellew at the top of the card. But again, as we've seen from Matchroom time and time again, incredible cards from top to bottom, and this one is no different. 8 fights on the card, 3 title fights, and at this time, we're going to go ahead and do. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing up to the stage for our first clash. It's an incredible cruiserweight clash. We call it a Nixonil. Both guys are undefeated. First incredible test for both young gentlemen. And on the line, it'll be 10 rounds for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Championship. Introducing first up to the stage, fighting out of London, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Riakporhe. Three-time London ABA Novice Champion, and he won the Haringey Box Cup. 7-0, 6 knockouts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, also undefeated, 13-0-1. He's got 1 draw, 6 knockouts.
Dylan White there.
For sale here in Manchester, ladies and gentlemen,
on the 22nd of December. He's a stablemate of Richard Riakporhe, Miguel's gym over in Brixton. The two will be sparring together in preparation for that fight, no doubt. Riakporhe taking a step up, his first major challenge really as a professional, big punching cruiserweight. Seen him a few times at York Hall, and he had a little scare in his last contest. Sam Hyde, tough, rugged, typical Gallagher style, very tight defence. I think the consensus with this one is if it's going to go either way, it's going to be Riakporhe potentially early, and if he starts to go late, every round that goes past number 6 maybe favours Sam Hyde.
Going to be a good fight. It's going to be a really good fight. I like Riakporhe. I think he looks fantastic on the scales, in fantastic shape. Looks really good. It was interesting hearing his story yesterday at the presser, where he's come from and where he wants to head, where he wants to be and where he wants to head to. And he understands that this is a big occasion for him. It's a massive fight, and one he's got to win.
Coming to the scale, the Mancunian undefeated, ladies and gentlemen, the 2011 Junior ABA Champion, CYP titleist, 13-0-1, 6 knockouts, Sam Nowhere Too High.
Well, there's 2.5 pounds to spare for Riakporhe. Sam Hyde, there he is, just under the 200-pound limit there. But I think on the night, it's going to look like the smaller man in there. Riakporhe, similar stature and frame to a Lawrence Okoli. 6'5", very rangy, heavy-handed with that single shot, and Sam Hyde's going to have to be wary of that one early on.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can see there, he's got a pedigree. You know, they don't hand out Junior ABA titles on NABCs. So he has some understanding of his way around the ring. Riakporhe does have a rawness like Lawrence Coley does, and he's very powerful. This is going to be a cracker, I've got no doubt.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, it was a little bit under the radar, not a fight really, it was on anybody's sort of list of fights, but as soon as it was announced, everyone said, yeah, I really like
that fight, it's good. And like I said before, you know, on these shows, a performance, a big win really does catapult you up the ratings and potentially in line for some sort of title.
It's a really good point actually, because we've spoken about the Cheeseman Byfields and potential fights with Fowler, Fitzgerald, Cheeseman going forwards, and the incentives for some of those fighters, like the Okoli Chamberlain fight, you know one of you's probably gonna come away with a loss, of course, unless you draw, but it just means that there has to be an incentive, whether that's financial or, as you say, you have to put one of those fights on a big bill like this because they know there's going to be exposure.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's down to the fighters. All the fighters will fight anyone, you know. Majority of fighters are competitive and they want to be put in with the best, but obviously you have a managerial team that will look after you and guide your career in the right path. So if you're going to take these fights, you're correct. You want to take that risk on the big platform, you know, in front of thousands of people on the undercard of a huge fight. So,
ladies and gentlemen,
you're right there.
From Connersboro, the Doncaster de la Hoya, please welcome the White Rhino, David Allen.
I mean, that's the reception, Darren, of a world champion who's been around for 4 or 5 years.
I'll tell you what he is, Chris. He's the people's champion. They love him, and rightly so. We've spent a lot of time with him whilst we've been doing these shows. He's such a great character, isn't he? He's so likeable. He's so naturally funny without trying, and he's charming. He's generous. He's a great bloke, and you know, I think the public obviously have noticed that, and I would say that the majority of people in here would pick Dave Allen.
18 stone 4 pounds, really 9 ounces for Bracamonte, 18-4-9, 18-4-9.
Bracamonte's a big lad there, 256
And now,
pounds.
ladies and gentlemen, the Doncaster de la Hoya, the Sock, the White Rhino, David Allen.
I mean, only Dave Allen would go on the scales with odd socks on. I mean, do you know the funny thing is as well? He's not wearing them. I think he's not doing it on purpose. No, I genuinely believe he's got odd socks on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
18 stone 5 pounds, 4 ounces for the White Rhino, 18-5-4 for David Allen.
The thing that's interesting, well, not I wouldn't say interesting, good to hear is he's starting to take it more seriously now, isn't he? You know, he's really digging in deep. He understands that there's some big fights out there for him. If he performs, if he wins, they're keeping him busy, our matchroom, and it's good. He has ambitions. He wants to become a British champion. He's desperate to do that.
As you said yesterday, he's the kind of guy who just needs short-term goals to keep himself motivated and fixated on. And he may even be out again before the end of the year. Maybe on the 22nd, maybe before. Yeah, and I think that's good for him.
We're face off the fighters, ladies and gentlemen.
He's realistic about the level of opposition he's currently facing, and he knows there will come a point where he wants to step up. But as Eddie said yesterday at the press conference, when he does step up, he no longer wants to be stepping up as an opponent. He wants to step up as a real contender.
And what you got to do, Chris, is to keep fighting and keep winning. And that's what they're doing. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be tougher opponents. I like to see the respect there, that's good. But yeah, there will be tougher opponents, but it's when the time's right. He doesn't want to be used up. He doesn't want to get beat up.
Saturday night, Manchester Arena.
So it's about, he's still learning. He's still learning on the job, Dave. So it's about keeping it busy, gradually increase the caliber of opponent, and hopefully he can capture some sort of title.
It'd be absolutely fantastic to see, wouldn't it? And if he headlined his own show at some point next year, or somewhere in the Midlands, that would just be a dream come true for him, I know. And you just know wherever it was, he'd pack a venue out and they'd all be shouting for him. So good luck to David Allen tomorrow night. And you know what, as we said with Anthony Joshua's weigh-in about a month or so ago, the buzz around the big fight weeks, listen, we have one of the best jobs in boxing, you and I, right? And we have a great time. But there's nothing that quite prepares you for a big fight. I mean, look, that was what, 3 or 4 rows deep when we first arrived, and now you look and it's almost full to the back now.
It's packed out.
Yeah, and just the weigh-in.
Do you know what? It shows you how big boxing is. Yeah. You know, the might of British boxing now is huge. You know, you got to remember, this is midweek. Yeah. People are supposed to be at work.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
a lot of people had it in their P45s to go and watch Usyk and Bellew weigh in.
but it's great. I mean, like you say, they're events, they're occasions, and one thing I think we've taken well from the States. I remember going to Mayweather Pacquiao, and it was at the MGM, and it was incredible. You had rap artists on there, singers on there before the weigh-in. I mean, it was an event. It was unbelievable, and I think we're sort of bringing that to Britain now. It's great, you know, it really is.
We've got Bugsy Malone, Manchester-based rapper, on the show tomorrow. We'll be live at 1 o'clock from Manchester Arena. We've got a tactical preview with the Intelligent Boxer. Good to have them back. We missed them the last couple of shows. Had to do our own analysis, and I guess you can look at a fight as much as you like, but the numbers tell you a little bit of a different story that you just can't read, no matter how well you can read a game. So it'd be good to have a look at those tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the Intelligent Box, don't we? You know, it's fascinating. Some of the stats that you don't really hear, and it's great, and you'll be very surprised when we show you the Usyk stats, because they're different.
They are different. He's fighting out of the Netherlands, Purmerend in the Netherlands. He's the Dutch middleweight champion, 5 and 2-3 knockout, Gino Canters.
Yeah, it's been great energy all of fight week so far. Looking forward to watching Josh Kelly. Kelly looked a little bit tired. For the first time I've ever seen Josh Kelly look a little bit tired, but of course he's had a child 3 or 4 days ago. And of course you had Poppy, how long ago was that?
About 11 weeks now.
Yeah, so you know what that's like the first week or so.
Well, I can't say I've woken up once, but yeah, it can be tiring. But yeah, good luck to him. It's great. You know, when you do have kids, you start doing it for different reasons, and that's Kelly now. What I will say, we went for a haircut yesterday, and Dave Allen took pictures of Josh Kelly's head and showed the barber and said, "Can I have a Josh Kelly, please?" He's not only a great boxer, but he inspires people when it comes to haircuts.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to the scales, please welcome Gino Canters, the Dutch middleweight champion, fighting out of Purmerend. So, 11 stone, 5 pounds, 2 ounces for Canters. 11-5-2.
Condition.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2016 Rio Olympian and the 2011 European bronze medalist, Dmitro Mitrofanov.
Mitrofanov, Ukrainian middleweight, won national title 2008, 2012, bronze medalist at the 2011 European Championships, Rio Olympian in 2016. Great pedigree, a lot of people talking very, very highly about him. He's 2-0 as a professional, making his 3rd appearance on Saturday night at middleweight. It's an Egis Klimas, and these guys know a fighter when they see one down.
Yeah, they do. They don't waste their time on losers, if you like.
They've been a really great addition to the kind of UK scene, haven't they? They'll spin you around a bit now because we're on air. Good a story, mate. Got fans trying to get pictures with you.
Like I say, it's filling up here.
No one wants a picture of me yet, but that's okay.
Don't worry, give it time. I was going to say. See Diamante up there. We've got one tomorrow, haven't we?
We have indeed, yeah. David Diamante, what a revelation of a character he's been.
Great, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, if you're around tomorrow, stick it on before the bell, because he really, really is a great guy, Diamante. He's got some fantastic stories, isn't he? It's good to hear, I guess, the insight of an MC, someone who sees a fight game from a different angle, you know, and he really is a cool guy.
He lives and born and raised out of Brooklyn, Diamante. Has his own cigar lounge out there. He was the Brooklyn Nets announcer for 6 years and worked on some of the biggest fights in the world. Of course, he was the announcer for Usyk's final with Gassiev in Russia.
You took that stat out of my mouth, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate.
6 rounds middleweights, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night on the huge historic card that Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing is putting on here at the Manchester Arena.
See my old coach Tony Sims in the background.
Ricky Burns looking well as well, and I think it says it all about the condition of a fighter, that you can make a a match of this calibre between him and Scott Cardler at 3 weeks' notice, and they can still both make weight, and that tells you all about professionalism. And you've always said to me, Ricky Burns is one of those guys never out of the gym, and probably, even though he's one of the oldest guys in the gym now, he's probably the fittest out of all of them.
He's a free-weight world champion, Scotland's greatest ever fighter. And you've got to think of the fighter Jim Watt, Ken Buchanan. He has to be ranked as #1 in my opinion. Okay, he doesn't need to box anymore, but he loves it. He loves it. You're speaking to him yesterday. Like Eddie pointed out at the presser, he looks like he's getting younger.
Yeah.
You know, he's a almost 55 veteran, is it, or over 55 veteran. He just loves the game. Trust me, I've been to Tony's as you have. He leaves no stone unturned. He trains his socks off. He loves the game, and I'm a massive fan of Ricky. He's a gentleman, and people, people talk about Rollo, etc. Rightly so, being one of the nicest men in boxing, and to name one. Ricky's up there as well. Ricky is one of the most genuinely nice blokes I've ever come across in boxing. He's such a nice bloke, and he deserves all the success he's had.
It's in the super welterweight division. That's 11 stone or 154 pounds. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. And introducing the competitors, first we're going to bring up a gentleman from Chubut, Argentina. 13 and 2, 3 knockouts. Please welcome Walter Pachu Castillo.
So Walter Castillo, the opponent for the Commonwealth welterweight champion Josh Kelly, who's just gone from strength to strength as a professional.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
himself, he said, I don't think I made the most of my amateur career, a bit up and down, and a few things happened here and there, and maybe his discipline wasn't what it is now, but under Adam Booth, he has flourished in a way that he always had the potential to do, and it's really good to see that he is.
Similar to Tony Sims, Adam Booth is a great man manager. He gets the best out of his. At times with me, Tony was able to get blood out of the stone, and I think Adam can do that with Josh. Josh has got all the talent in the world, but sometimes you need to be, put in the right direction. Not that he was ever strayed, but I think just getting the best out of someone, and Adam can do that, because Josh, we know, has the potential and the ability to become a world champion, no doubt. He's got all the ability in the world. He's definitely one to keep an eye on over the coming months.
10 stone, 9 pounds, 5 ounces for Castillo.
Harder fights than
10, 9, 5 for Castillo.
But he's got to get past Castillo first.
Argentinian. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to scale, voted as the Boxing Writers Association of America Young Boxer of the Year, the undefeated
nurturing talent, when you have somebody like him that thinks in a different way, wants to box in an unorthodox way, you need a coach that thinks in an unorthodox manner, and Adam Booth is just that, and they've really fitted together well. And well, welterweight is arguably the toughest division out there, and there are some real killers up there, but he's got that style and he's got the mentality to, you would have thought in the next 18 months, get amongst the mix and start losing a few weights to the top level.
Do you know what though, Chris? You talk about the welterweight being a tough division. It is. It's a fantastic division, one of the best, arguably the best. But you want to be in a tough division. You don't want to be in perhaps say the cruiserweight division was 20 years ago. Yeah. The cruiserweight division become glamorous. You want to be in a glamorous division, and Josh will be over the moon. He's got to be patient, as you say. He's got to be looked after. But sooner or later, they've got to let him off the leash, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Adam Booth's quite keen to start getting him moving already. A couple of decent tests thus far, and Commonwealth champion already, and no easy routes for him. I don't think he wants easy fights either. He's boxed at high level as an amateur, went to an Olympic Games, and do you know what? Went to an Olympic Games, quite a late qualification. Lost to the Cuban, and it was a very, very close contest, and he didn't have an ideal prep going into those games in terms of the year that led into it, but you could see the class and the talent that he had there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
no getting away from the hard work as well when you're surrounded by Mick Conlon, Ryan Burnett, Shannon Courtney, and all the guys and girls in that gym.
I seem to say this every single show, and I using the saying, but it's so true. Success breeds success. When you got other guys fighting for world titles, defending world titles, etc., you want to be involved in them sort of fights.
Yeah. Mick Conlon has come down. They bumped into him in the hotel yesterday. He's come along
He's
too.
a future star.
Absolutely,
no doubt about it.
And news on Ryan Burnett is. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that just in case it hasn't been released yet, but it looks like he's at least sort of on the road to recovery, and he seems to be in good spirits and surrounded by a good bunch of guys who've got his back. And obviously everyone's hugely disappointed for him in what happened against Untitled Chapter because he worked so hard, and it was shaping up to be such a brilliant fight when it happened as well.
Yeah, it's such a shame to lose your title like that. It really was. He was boxing nicely, and that's the hurt game, I guess. You know, these things can happen. It's so unfortunate. And big fan of Ryan Burnett as well. He's another great, genuine guy. Yeah, he'll come back better than ever.
Fighting out of Lytham, St. Anne's. Please welcome Scotty Cardle.
Talking yesterday about the kind of this new generation of fighters that's come through, but it's interesting the changing of the guard, not just in the fighters themselves, but how trainers rebuild their stables. Tony Sims obviously went from your era, kind of post 2013-14, and has rebuilt this young crop of guys. Jamie Moore's done a brilliant job in his stable. Joe Gallagher as well. Adam Booth has cultivated a fantastic group of young boxers.
He is the three-time three-weight division world champion fighting out of Coatbridge, Scotland. Please welcome Ricky, the Rickster Burns. Ricky Burns.
And listen, it's a test for Ricky Burns, but one that you are expecting him to pass on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Ricky will outwork Cardle and win a points decision.
Now to the scales, ladies and gentlemen,
that
please
class,
welcome
that experience, I think will show. But yeah, going back to the coaches, they're pivotal in a fighter's development and success, 100%. I heard Matthew Mangan talk about it a couple of days ago. It's a marriage. You know, you really got to bond together, and like I say, at times with me, with injuries, etc., and losing love for the game, Tony was able to get blood out of a stone just by managing me and getting the best out of me. And yeah, he does that with Ricky, and we've got some great coaches. And I think again, that sent right back to our GB team with Rob McCracken. You know, he's getting some great talent coming through. And Cardle looking on good shape here.
1 hour to lose the weight.
So he's 1.7 over the 135 limit, which is
9-10-7 for Scotty
quite a
Cardle.
lot, Darren.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm looking
Inside
in
the
there.
weight, 9-10-7.
Seems to be all smiles. They said he's got a bit of time to go and lose the weight.
Inside the weight? I didn't see the number on the scales.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to scale the three-time three-weight world champion from Coatbridge, Scotland, Ricky Burns.
Again, it was potentially disappointing news for Cardle when you're deep into camp, and obviously Joe Cordina had that hand injury, which I believe he's had operated on now. So to find him such a great replacement when he's trained so hard for a big fight. We saw the disappointment of Craig Richards 2 or 3 weeks ago when Jake Ball pulled out. And if you can get a decent opponent, then why not?
I'm telling you now, Chris, Cardle will be happy. It's Ricky Burns, no doubt about it. I think, I'm not going to say Cordina's a tougher fight, but I think it's not really, there's not much.
It's a different narrative with Cordina, isn't it?
Look, if he beats Ricky, if he's able to beat Ricky, he's beating a three-time three-weight world champion. You know, one of our greats. And if he beats Cordina, he's beating a very good prospect. It's a little bit different. You'd rather, for the sake of your career, say that you've got to win over a former world champion. So I'm sure Cardle's over the moon.
And to that degree as well, not to look at it cynically, but of course if he loses to Joe Cordina, very hard to then bounce back for that. Whereas if you lose to Ricky Burns, someone with that pedigree and those credentials, there is then a route back for him.
There is somewhere, there's a way back. Who did you lose to? Ricky Burns. Oh, that's no drama. You know. But Cordina, you lost to an 8-9 fight novice. So yeah, it's a fight. It's going to be a good fight, but I do see Ricky winning this.
Ricky Burns lost to Anthony Crolla this very venue a year ago now, and he said he's angling for that rematch, but have a feeling that Anthony Crolla, who we'll see on the scales in a few moments' time, is looking ahead at some bigger fish if he gets past Al Jordan on Saturday night. Big names in the division. Vasyl Lomachenko, of course, at the top. Mikey Garcia, we believe, is going to move up. Richard Comey potentially going to then fight for the IBF title, but it just means that if Garcia moves up, there are potentially a couple of gaps available to the likes of Anthony Crolla, Luke Campbell, and it would be great at some point to see those two in with each other, potentially for a world title.
We had a good chat with Crolla yesterday, and he's buzzing. He really is. There's almost a weight off of his shoulder. He's a boxing man. He loves boxing. He's achieved his goal, becoming a world champion. now we can just go and enjoy the sport, you know. But for Anthony Crolla to be chief support in his home city, which he loves dearly, we know that, in front of his adhering fans, is a dream come true once again. He's just buzzing, and yeah, there's some big fights out there for him, you know, and yeah, I mean, what he would do to become world champion again. You know, he loves the sport, but like I say, there's a huge weight lifted from him now. He's achieved his goal, and now he can just really flourish and enjoy the sport that he loves so much.
Yeah, it's great, and it's strange again how quickly the time goes, because he's another guy that you look at and he's fresh-faced and youthful, and you think of him as a young man, but again, he's 31 years of age,
yep.
and so you retired at 32, I think, didn't you? Were you 31, 32? So you know,
Cracking on now, mate.
but it is that kind of thing, isn't it? You do get to that age and, you know, the body doesn't quite respond the way it used to, and suddenly you have to do extra things in training to just maintain the level you were previously at. So Crolla is at that stage where he needs to make the most of the next 2 years if he wants to exit with the title of two-time world champion.
Yeah, and I guess it's about looking after himself as well. You know, you have achieved that goal. There's no reason that you want to now leave the sport with any injuries, etc. So I think it's just about, yeah, the way, being more specific to the way you approach the fight. It's just looking after yourself. You haven't got to go pounding the roads, etc. You know, you just got to look after the body a bit more. And yeah, you know, it seems like Joe works well. Go back to the coaches.
Yeah,
Joe Gallagher and Anthony have a very strong relationship, and there's still big fights out there for Anthony Crolla.
One of the things Anthony said after that attack, of course, he had a fractured skull but also a broken ankle, and I think because of the force through the ankle he now can't run, so he's had to give up road running, which has been an interesting education for him, because he said, actually, I'm still as fit as I was, but I had to find other ways around it. And in the same way that, I remember reading that Vladimir Klitschko started to ease back on the road running as he entered his sort of mid to late 30s.
For the last two fights I didn't do any. It was.
How did you feel?
Well, the Guild fight, I didn't go for one run. I didn't do one sprint. It was all done in the swimming pool, and I mean, I guess it was the fittest I've ever been. You know, the 14-week training camp, and it just shows you there are ways and ways to substitute the stamina building exercises that you do. And yeah, there we go, the white rhino.
Wow.
But yeah, there are other ways and training techniques, and I think Anthony Crolla was obviously aware of those, and he seems to be doing them.
Okay, we're going to throw back to our MC, David Diamanto.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time that we're going to go ahead and weigh in the chief support for Saturday night's historic bout taking place at the Manchester Arena. This is a great bout. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. It is the WBA final eliminator for the lightweight championship of the world. That is held by Vasily Lomachenko. And right now we're going to go ahead and bring up the number 2 ranked WBA fighter in the world versus the number 4 ranked WBA fighter in the world. Great bout. Introducing first to the stage, he's the former IBO featherweight and lightweight champion of the world. Professional record, 38 wins, 3 defeats, 26 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current WBO Intercontinental lightweight champion. He is ranked number 2 in the world by the WBA. Please welcome from Sukadana, Indonesia, Dazn Chino Jordan. Dazn Jordan. And this bout is sanctioned by the WBA also. The president is Gilberto Mendoza. The supervisor will be Mariana Borisova. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, as an amateur, he boxed for England. He was the ABA champion. As a professional, his record, 33 wins, 6 defeats, 3 draws, 13 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former British, English, and WBA lightweight champion of the world, fighting out of right here in Manchester. Currently ranked number 4 in the world by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony $1 Million Crolla. Anthony Crolla. And now, first to the scales, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning defending WBO Intercontinental Lightweight Champion from Indonesia, Dazn Chino Jordan. Dazn Jordan.
Yeah, it was a respectful reception for Dazn. He's comfortably under the limit with a pound to spare. Looks in really, really good condition. And Anthony Crolla, Darren, we talked about what's ahead for him, but this guy absolutely is going to be no pushover.
No, he's a great fighter. He's as hard as nails. He really is. He's tough as anything. He knows his way around the ring. He can box very well. He's got a fantastic jab. He's strong, he's powerful.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
I expect the roof to go off here
lightweight champion of the world, Anthony $1 Million Crolla.
Well, what a night it was. Just a stone's throw from where we are in the Manchester Arena in 2016 after all of the odds. That kind of poor decision against Davis Perez a year after he was attacked and left in hospital with a fractured skull and a broken ankle. He came back to win the WBA lightweight title. He's bang on the weight.
Bang on.
Absolutely brilliant. Looks in great condition. Carved out stone, ready to rumble on Saturday night. And what a reception he'll have.
The roof's going to go off. And what a story that is. When you're saying it again, you forget exactly what you've been through. And I'm sure there's going to be a film come out about Crolla. He's a great guy. And it's going to be a fantastic fight. Like you say, Jordan is not to be overlooked. He's a very, very tough competitor, and it's one I'm looking forward to.
He said he's been coming to this arena for over 25 years. As a little boy, he said when there were events and concerts on, it was the thing he would save all his pocket money up for, sit in the stands. And he said he watched some of the British greats, Ricky Hatton, box there, and he said to kind of walk there himself, come through the smoke and the lights. He said it's an indescribable feeling and a highly personal venue and experience for him in front of his home crowd. And you know, there are certain boxers we know attach themselves to cities, and that becomes part of their identity. And Manchester, very, very much part of Anthony Crolla's.
Absolutely, you know, really feeds off of it. But I mean, I'm very patriotic, and I love where I'm from. But Anthony Crolla, I mean, his passion for his city is unbelievable. The only thing actually is that he's a Man United fan. The only thing, and the only negative about Anthony Crolla. They both looked in fantastic shape there on the scales, didn't they?
For the WBA lightweight title final eliminator.
It's proper kind of world championship contender condition, isn't it? That no messing around at this level.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit
a lot of stake.
We'll be back with the main event weigh-in in about 2 or 3 minutes.
So you heard David Diamante there, the main event weigh-in kicking off, and that's when the noise levels are really, really going to start to go up. Dave Allen got a big cheer, but I think Dave Allen, for once, is going to be second fiddle to Tony Bellew. And this place, when he steps on the scales, is going to absolutely go off. Sorry if someone just walked in front of the screen there.
Shrieker.
No, he's fully clothed, thank goodness.
No, but yeah, Tony Bellew is such a character. He really is. He's one of my favourites. Inside the ring and out the ring, and I think it's the same for many of the British boxing fans. He's a great guy, isn't he? I mean, he's so exciting. There's so much to like about him in the ring and outside the ring. He picks up on a lot of taboo topics on Twitter.
He does, yeah.
He does. You know, he's very outspoken, but he's a genuinely good bloke.
But when you are a divisive character like that, ultimately you're going to create people that don't like you. But the people that do like you, they absolutely love you. And the people that have a total, there's a kind of an unfettered passion, and they will follow you into battle. And that's what he's going to need, because listen, we know that Usyk was almost indifferent to the crowd. He's travelled all over the world. The crowd is not really a factor in his performance, but you just feel like of all the percentages that Tony Bellew needs to gain on Saturday night, he needs his best ever performance, he needs to be sharp, he needs maybe a little bit of luck, he needs the perfect game plan, everything to go his way, and the extra 1% just could be the crowd as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He needs this crowd to help him find the way to beat Usyk, honestly. And if it is raising the decibels up that little bit higher, I don't know. It is a near on impossible task. But like I said before, if there's anybody who can do it, it's Tony Bellew, because he finds a way. He just finds a way to win. You know, he really does. His will to win is hard to match. It's incredible, and yeah, I cannot wait for it. You know, I can't wait for the ring walk. And again, if there's one thing to not like about Tony, it's the fact that he's an Evertonian. But the ring walk's great, isn't it? It's electric. Yeah. It really, you know, it gives you goosebumps. It's one of those, and the atmosphere tomorrow is going to be great. And if you've got a ticket, you're in for a real treat.
And before that all kicks off, 1 o'clock, we'll be live from the Manchester Arena. Myself and Darren will be going through tactics ahead of the big fight with the intelligent boxer. We've got David Hay in the studio with us as well. And that'll be...
Yeah, we've got David Hay. We've got a great giveaway as well.
We have. Oh yeah, stick with us. we've got an amazing giveaway for you, and there'll be details on how to enter in a few minutes' time. But the really interesting thing with Saturday, quite interested to hear what David Hayes' take is on this, because he, without a doubt, is one of the greatest cruiserweights of all time. In terms of single fantasy matchups, you put him in with anybody and he's got a big shot of winning. Moved up to heavyweight, lost those 2 fights against Tony Bellew. He wasn't the fighter that he was in the sort of early stage of his career, Mac Brunelli, and of course even when he went up and fought Valiev in the early days of his heavyweight career. But it's an argument, Darren, that Tony Bellew will be better coming back down at cruiserweight, because of course putting on an extra stone and a half when you're not a natural heavyweight, let's say, for Tony Bellew, we're expecting to see a sharper, faster version of him than even he was against David Hay in the last 2 fights.
Well, yeah, this fight at heavyweight for me would be impossible for Tony Bellew to win. At cruiserweight, he has got that extra little bit of speed, not just with his hands, his reactions, you know, his head movement, his feet, just to get in and out of range, and he's going to need that. The way that Usyk creates angles, I think he would have carried that speed up at heavyweight. So now Tony's dropped down, he can, I wouldn't say matching the speed, but he's going to be able to try and just have that knack, that speed to be able to try and find some hooks to land on Usyk's chin. It's going to be tough.
Well, they're about to step on the scales. Here's RMC, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the official weigh-in for tomorrow night's main event to be held at Manchester Arena. And it's all brought to you by Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, the main event, presented in association with K2 Promotions. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship of the World. It's presented live on Sky Sports Box Office and live on Dazn. Sponsored by William Hill, StubHub, and JD Sports. At this time, let's bring up challenger and champion to the stage for the official weigh-in. First up to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, his professional record an outstanding one in 32 bouts, 30 victories, including 20 big wins by knockout, only 2 defeats with 1 draw. And over the last 5 years, his record stands at a perfect 10 fights, 10 victories, 8 wins by knockout. He's never lost as a cruiserweight. Ladies and gentlemen, from Liverpool, the cruiserweight fighting pride of the entire United Kingdom, the former WBC cruiserweight champion of the world, Tony "Bomber" Bellew. And now let's welcome to the stage for the official weigh-in his opponent. He captured Olympic gold at the London Games, and now, as a professional in 15 fights, a perfect record, 15 victories, 11 big wins by knockout. He's rated by many as the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. From Kiev, Ukraine, the reigning, defending, undisputed, undefeated cruiserweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk. Getting on the scales first will be the man that knows how to fight all the odds. The last 5 years, a perfect record of 10 fights, 10 victories, 8 wins by knockout, undefeated in his career as both a heavyweight and a cruiserweight. He is indeed, from Liverpool, the fighting pride of the entire UK. Tony Bomber Bellew!
So the big reveal then, Darren, the first time he's been back down to cruiserweight since 2016. That was BJ Flores. That might be the best shape we've ever seen Tony Bellew in.
He doesn't look like the fat kid he keeps talking about.
No, he does not, does he?
He looks in very, very good shape.
Bang on the way, 199.4. Little bit to spare. And maybe, Darren, I think there's some abs coming through there.
I can see a couple of abs there. But he understands it's the biggest fight of his life. He's got to be in the best shape of his life.
14 stone, 3 stone, 5 ounces.
Absolutely fantastic shape, Tony
Next
Bellew.
up onto the scales, the undisputed, undefeated world champion. He captured Olympic gold right here in the UK at the London Games, and now a perfect record as a professional. The reigning, defending, undisputed cruiserweight world champion, Alexander Usyk.
Well, just 15-0 as a professional. The Olympic gold medalist wins over Myris Bridis, Marco Herc, Michael Hunter, Krzysztof Glowacki, and of course Murat Gassiev in Russia.
14 stones, 2 pounds and 2 pounds. 4 ounces for the
He's brought some fans with him because I can hardly hear what you were saying there. We've got some Ukrainian supporters just behind us making a load of racket.
Do you know what's interesting? When we used to go to the World Series boxing at York Hall, the teams that had the biggest turnout from the fans' point of view were the UK and were the Ukrainians. And the noise when the Ukraine Ottomans used to come out, was the first time I saw Vasyl Lomachenko. Poor Sam Maxwell had to box him twice. They boxed at York Hall and the noise in that place was unforgettable. All Ukrainians draped over the balcony, flags, banners, and people think this is going to be like a partisan crowd where it's all going to be for Tony Bellew, but this, tomorrow night, there'll be as many.
There'll be some
sound like some Usyk fans.
There will in patches, but I think they're going to get drowned out
yeah.
by this crowd tomorrow. You know, another thing that we haven't really touched on is this is Tony Bellew's last fight. He's been a great ambassador for the sport. We've enjoyed watching him, and we're never going to be able to see him again.
Yeah.
You know, people do come out of retirement from time to time. Tony Bellew won't. This is the last time we'll see Tony Bellew fight.
Challenger and champion, Tony Bomber Bellew.
The Manchester City flag there.
Goes down at Manchester Arena tomorrow night for the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship of the world.
Do you know what, Darren? There aren't many things more frightening in the world of boxing than a face-off with Alexander Usyk, but the one man that has no fear, Tony Bellew. Ultimate respect between the two. They really like each other, but they are going to war tomorrow night.
Exactly. Tony's got all the respect in the world for Usyk. He said if he wasn't fighting him, he'd be a fan of his.
I love that.
And,
absolutely love the respect there.
Yeah, it's great. He tried to wind him up though, Usyk, didn't he, with a city scarf, but...
Well, Tony, as he rightly said, he said some fights need the hype, some fights need the beef, but this one absolutely sells itself. Some of the best talkers up there, Eddie Hearn, Tony Bellew. Listen to that crowd.
He's pumped up.
Well, he's drinking it in, Darren. This is his last moment that he's ever going to weigh in as a professional. The last time he can drink in every single moment along the way. Dave Coldwell, we've got a special feature with him on Saturday, where he talks about the nostalgia of going through all those last things, the last training camp, the last time they'll do this session, the last spar. This is the last weigh-in of his career.
Yeah, so though it is the biggest fight of your life, you do want to try and enjoy these moments. But look, Usyk, them eyes and that smile, it's frightening, isn't it? I cannot wait for this fight. I'm telling you now. I just want to get in there now. Roll on tomorrow.
The hairs are up on the arm as well.
They
really actually are. What a noise we're going to have. And if this is a pocket of...
Everyone's gone back to work now.
Yeah. Right, back for lunch. This is a small percentage of what's going to be in Manchester Arena tomorrow night. I mean, if this is anything to go by, when that first bell goes, or if we get any moments of drama in the fight, somebody goes down, or there's a wobbly moment, it's going to be spine-tingling atmosphere inside there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same as, you know, when I say Tony's going to need this crowd behind him. something like that, just to unsettle Usyk, if he is able, just, I don't know, turn his toes and get him to wobble.
Like Ricky Han did against Mayweather in that first
Get the
2
crowd
rounds.
going, get the crowd going. He understands that they're going to play a big part tomorrow night.
We've got a rather good giveaway. It's a terrific boxing artist called Damien Burton, who's on Twitter at Mr. Yib. Drew this, and I saw this about 7 or 8 weeks ago. He said, I'm just drawing the face-off. And this is from when they faced off in Wembley. I don't know if we can get a close-up on that. That is an original hand-sketched. There we go. He's absolutely stunning, that. And I said to him, look, would it be okay if we gave this away as a prize on our show? And he said, absolutely no problem whatsoever. So, Damien Burton, thank you very much. It's also signed. Tony Bellew signed that. We're going to try and get a signature from Alexander Usyk.
I won't put mine on there because I'll devalue it.
Well, I was going to say, we want to keep the value up, don't we? But it's beautiful, so we'll get that framed. Details on how to enter a little bit later on, but you've got to make sure that once you see us post that photo on the Matchroom Boxing page, like Matchroom Boxing, like the post, and share it as well. And we'll pick a winner on the show tomorrow, and that will be winging its way to you. That's worth a lot, both money-wise and just in terms of the memorabilia too.
That's great. I'd have that in a frame, and that would be on my wall.
Well, mate, you know what to do. Like the post and give it a share.
Have you seen? There's a couple on the background.
I think it's Harold Graham, but I will need to check because I think he was sketching and he said he realised there was a couple of drawings on the back as well, but they're stunning too. So anyway, that will be winging its way to one of you tomorrow. We will be back at 1 o'clock from Manchester Arena. Myself, Darren Barker, we'll have the rapper Bugsy Malone. David Hay will be in the studio as well. Who else have we got on, Darren?
Most of them are in the house.
I don't know, we're stacked tomorrow.
We are stacked tomorrow. We've got loads of special features.
Rocky
David Dumonte, Rocky Fielding as well, he'll be in the studio too. Loads of special features as well. Join us in Manchester Arena. This lot are going to be loud, but don't miss it. 1 o'clock on Matchroom Boxing social media. For Darren and myself, thanks for your company, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
That will be the crowning achievement of your life, of your career. Where do you go from there? It's retirement.
It's another knife race. It's a fight first. Forget about what it means. All I want to do is beat Alexander Usyk. I don't care about what's at stake, what it's for. I just want to beat him. So where do I go from there? A pizza, a pint, a Mackey's, a KFC, whatever it is, mate. But I'll enjoy life, and these abs won't stay around for long. I'll promise you that much.
Just show us that again, come on, because we're not used to seeing you in quite such incredible